This boy be in my DM say I'm pretty.
She wasn't just putting her name on someone else's products. She was manufacturing them herself, managing the supply chain, handling distribution, and building a brand that would eventually be sold in top pharmacies across Jamaica. Her family described her as fiercely independent and hardworking. Her mother preferred to call her a businesswoman rather than just a dance hall artiste, and it was easy to see why. While other artists might spend recklessly, Stephanie was building something sustainable, creating jobs and contributing to Jamaica's economy. By all accounts, she was succeeding on multiple fronts: a rising star in music, a successful entrepreneur, and an emerging voice for abuse survivors. She had overcome childhood trauma, built 2 thriving careers, and was positioning herself to make a real difference in the lives of others who had suffered as she had. Her future seemed limitless, but Stephanie was hiding something from everyone who loved her: a relationship that would prove to be fatal. Not long after Stephanie launched her professional music career in 2017, she met someone who would change everything. His name was Dwight Gale, but in the streets and in the entertainment circles, everyone knew him by another name: White Knight. There was just one problem. White Knight wasn't managing artists from some fancy or sitting in recording studios. He was behind bars, and he wasn't there for some minor offense or a mistake that got out of hand. Dwight Gale was serving a 25-year sentence for taking someone's life. He'd been locked up since 2012. Yet somehow, this man, this convicted individual, serving time for the most serious crime you can commit, became Stephanie's boyfriend, her road manager, her career sponsor. He made decisions about where she performed, who she worked with, what bookings she took. From a prison cell, White Knight controlled virtually every aspect of Stephanie Williams' professional life. Think about that for a moment. A man with no freedom of his own was dictating someone else's entire career. He had the connections. He had the resources. He had the influence. And most importantly, he had complete authority over Stephanie's movements and opportunities. How does that even happen? How does someone behind bars maintain that level of control over a rising artist's life? Those are questions that still don't have clear answers. What we do know is that White Knight had reached that extended far beyond those prison walls. But here's what makes this even more disturbing. Stephanie's family, the people who loved her most, who had sacrificed everything for her, knew almost nothing about this man who controlled her life. Her mother, Millicent McCurdy, never met him.
Rest in peace to this woman. This is one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in Jamaica. Is she dead? Is she missing? We don't know what happened, but let's take a look at the case. And tonight, we will be revisiting the case of Claudia Kershaw. Now, Claudia was born in 1971. She was a travel writer and she was based in New York. Now, picture this. The time is May 2001. Claudia, as well as a few other people, actually had a business trip to the island of Cuba. Now, pay attention to this. Claudia and some of the other writers were supposed to go to Cuba, but they made a stop in Jamaica before they went to Cuba. Now, the time is May 24th, 2000. Claudia and the other writers learned that their business trip had been cancelled, so they were stuck in Jamaica. And the reason why they were stuck is because their return flight had been planned for June of that same year. So they were essentially stuck in Jamaica for a few days. Remember, they did not plan to be here for long, but the trip got cancelled, so they had to stay here. Now, even though Claudia was disappointed, she told herself that she would still make the best use of this trip since she was here. Now, whilst at a resort in Negril, Claudia made friends with a bartender that worked there. His name is Anthony Grant. Now, one of the other writers told Claudia that they managed to book a flight back to New York, and they told Claudia that they would meet her back in that state. She agreed. Now, when the other writer and Claudia had this conversation about meeting back in New York, That time was May 27, 2000, right? And that day was when Claudia became missing. Nobody saw her since. No, the last person who was reported seeing Claudia was a lifeguard that worked at the resort. The lifeguard said that they saw Claudia walking away from the resort in a bathing suit and a t-shirt. Little did anybody know this would have been the last sighting ever of Claudia Kirchhoff. Now, here's the weird part. The day after Claudia went missing, the same friend that she made at the resort, Anthony Grant, he called in sick and he did not go to work for 4 days after that. Now, on June 2nd, 2000, her parents were contacted and they were told that she was missing. When an investigation was done in the room that she stayed, all her personal belongings were there. Her money, wallet, ID, everything was there. The only thing that was missing was a radio that she had and her bathing suit that she was seen in. Now, there was some speculation from the police that she had possibly drowned. That's why nobody could find her. But other people believe that foul play was involved. They believed she was murdered. Now, when the FBI got involved in this, they used a search dog to track her scent. Now, the search dog found her scent on the boots and gloves, also a knife for Anthony Grant, which made him the top suspect. Here's the weird part. Anthony Grant was given a lie detector test, but the results were inconclusive, so they could not pin the blame on him. Unfortunately, in May of 2002, Claudia Kirchhoff was declared legally dead. This year will make 25 years since Claudia Kirchhoff went missing. Her body has not been recovered. Her whereabouts are still unknown. This case will still be unsolved. With that said, good night. Take care. Rest in peace, Claudia. And the more you know.
It all started with a smell emanating from a single blue barrel left on Industrial Terrace in Kingston. It blended in the background for a couple of days until someone finally called the police. And on February 3, 2025, JCF came, checked the barrel, and found a man's body inside. That man was Kevin Walker. He was 42 years old and he was a Digicel employee. Kevin was also a small business owner, running a loan company and a car rental. And he was also a pillar of his community, having grown up in Almond Town and spending many of his years being active in Police Youth Club. Even though he had moved from Almond Town a year before, he still supported the community's initiatives, using his network he attained at Digicel and his former company Nestle Jamaica to secure sponsorship and resources for young people in his community. Everyone said that Kevin was humble, helpful, and kind. But on the morning of February 1, Kevin left home at around 10 a.m. According to investigators, some women lured Kevin into the Hannahtown community in Kingston. Inside a house, 3 men were waiting. It was a planned robbery. Kevin was forced to hand over his credit card, his debit card, his PIN, and his banking information. 2 of the women left and went to an ATM in Crossroads and withdrew money from his account. Overall, they robbed him of over $700,000. Kevin was tortured, and later that night, his body was placed in a barrel and dumped on Industrial Terrace. But the police wasted no time. On February 11, they intercepted a stolen Toyota Probox that was linked to the case. Gunfire was exchanged and 1 man died. The man's name was Diamond, and he was a person of interest in Kevin's case. And the other occupant, a 19-year-old, was arrested. Shortly after, police arrested the key persons in the case, the 3 main suspects, 3 women. They were picked up and charged. 30-year-old Anita Vanzi from Mark Lane in Kingston, 29-year-old Shade Bennett from Oxford Street in Kingston, and 36-year-old Joanna Williams, or Birdie, also from Oxford Street in Kingston. They face charges of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, larceny, being part of a criminal organization, accessory before and after the fact, and preventing the lawful burial of a corpse. 2 other men, known as LaVar Witter and Shano remain wanted. The people accused of taking his life now face the court, but Kevin Walker's name will live beyond their actions, carried in the community he helped to build and the lives he impacted.
Do you know this lady? And do you know this man? Well, let's take a look at their story. Tonight, we'll be taking a look at the Slickiana story. This wonderful young lady goes by the name of Anika Townsend, but she was most famously known as Slickiana. And this guy's name is Rashane Patterson. Now, Slickiana was a social media influencer, also an entrepreneur. Now, everything was going good for Slickiana, but in 2022, something terrible happened. On October the 21st, 2022, police had found an unidentified body of a woman on the shores of St. James. Not long after that, it was determined that the body that they found belonged to none other than Slickiana. Unfortunately, she had already passed away. Now, an autopsy had been done and it was determined that the cause of was due to strangulation. So, Slickiana had been strangled to. But who would have done this to Slickiana? Well, that's where Rashane Patterson comes in. This man was charged with the of Slickiana, and he was charged from 2022. But something happened to Rashane today. There have been multiple reports from news outlets saying that Rashane Patterson, the man who was charged with the of Slickiana, now it was reported that some confrontation between Rashane and the police resulted in Rashane being shot, and he passed away. So yeah, as a matter of fact, Rashane was scheduled to actually appear back in court in October of this year, 2025. But still, rest in peace again, Slickiana. With that said, good night, take care, and the more you know.
Alright, the little girl where her body was found behind a family member's house. Old fridge, decomposed. And it was said that it's her father who did this thing to her, who raped her and then unalive her, because him find messages in her phone between her and a boy. And him say she have someone. So it's more than evident that he was, molesting his own child. Now the people in the community where he was held by the police, because in the police custody now, wanna let we down. Wanna let down myself, Jamaican people, everybody wanna let down. And me I gotta tell you now why wanna let down the whole Jamaica, the whole Caribbean, the whole world. Because jungle justice should be the ally, the go-to, the thing to do. And by the way, I'm not a violent person, but me just feel like say that make whole heap of more sense. And God would have understand, because it would be a righteous kill. That man should have never been escorted by the police alive. I'm dead body them should have thrown at the Hilux. Believe me. So people of that community, wanna let down me, Jamaica, the Caribbean, and most importantly, the little girl that he took away her life. But all in all, and then a jail, bad jailer, you know what time it is. Yeah, me general, is a free back this again. Yeah?
Rest in peace to this great woman. What happened? Let's take a look. And tonight, we'll be taking a look at this lady. Now, her name is Sharon Kelly Steer. And Sharon Kelly Steer was a Rastafarian elder. She lived in a place called Bobo Hill, which is said to be a very religious place among the Rastafarians. Now, Sharon was a very respected woman, and at one point in time, she was the principal of Ferncourt High School. And everything would change in 2022. Follow me. The time is July 8th, 2022. Something seems a bit off at the residence of Sharon. Sharon Kelly Steer was found dead in her chair at her home. And the time that she was found was around 3:05 p.m. The reason why this was so surprising was that, remember, Bubba Hill is said to be a very religious place. This area is said to be one of those places in which it is well celebrated by the Rastafarians. So a murder happening here is very uncommon. Now, most people say that she was murdered, but a few people say that they don't know what happened. This case is still unsolved. Nobody has been arrested in correlation with this crime. The case is still cold to this very day. With that said, good night, take care, and the more you know.
Jamaica is on track to record fewer than 700 murders in a calendar year, a first in 31 years. State Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for communication, Apka Fitz-Henley, says this represents a massive change, noting that the country has come a long way in improving public safety.
When the Homeless Administration came to office in 2016, rightfully there was an outcry about violent crime. Dr. Holness got to work, tabled Plan Secure Jamaica in the Parliament in the 2017-2018 budget. And it is no coincidence that we are now seeing a massive reduction in murders.
He says the improvement has much to do with research and strategic investment in the country's security forces.
Unprecedented investment in protection of our borders and genuine and sustained investment in the constabulary force and the Jamaica Defence Force, along with a suite of legislation passed, have all played a major part in the decline in murders. And I am of the view that the decline is not only evidence of good policy making, but of a transformed Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Have you ever seen this girl's face before? She may look familiar to you, but something bad happened to her. Let's take a look at the story. Good night, ladies, and good night, gentlemen, and welcome on another episode of Monday Mysteries. Tonight we will be taking a look back at the story of Jasmine Dean. By the way, I got a new phone, so I'm trying out the new setup. That's why I'm having on this headset. Yeah, man, it connected to the phone. If the audio sound iffy, just bear with me for this video. Now, Jasmine Dean was a student of the University of the West Indies, and she was said to have resided in 11 miles within the vicinity of Bull Bay. Now, she was said to be a visually impaired student, which means her eyesight isn't really the best, but still, she was said to be an excellent student. But everything would change on February the 27th, 2020. Now, follow me. The time is February the 27th, 2020, around 9 p.m. in the night. It is said that Jasmine Dean was said to be on her way home from school. And that was the last time she was ever seen or heard from. Now, the trip to 11 Mile from UA would look something like this. Now, there's two ways she could go about doing this, unless she had a personal driver. But unless she was booking a taxi or taking the longer route or the harder route, which would be to take a taxi to downtown Kingston, which would be located somewhere over here, and then taking a taxi from downtown to 11 Mile. Downtown Kingston at night is not the safest of places, I can tell you that. Even in the daytime, it's not safe. But long story short, that was her last known trip. That was it. No form of connection from Jasmine Dean to any of her loved ones. But catch this, in 2020, two men from Bold Bay were actually found in possession of Jasmine Dean's bank cards and cell phone. They weren't arrested for the disappearance of Jasmine Dean, As a matter of fact, the father of Jasmine was very much upset because he believed that enough investigation wasn't done with those two men in regards to the disappearance of his daughter. It's amazing that Jasmine disappeared. Two men were found with her bank cards and phone, and nothing came from that. But still, there is a mixed debate as to what's happened with Jasmine. Some people believe she was killed. Some people believe she was trafficked and is in a different country against her will. We don't know. This case is still unsolved 5 years later. With that said, good night, be safe, take care, and the more you know.
JCF defends police fatal shootings amid criticisms over rising numbers. Senior communications strategist at the Jamaica Constabulary Force, SSP Dennis Brooks, says the police will continue to rely on their enhanced investigative capabilities to target individuals believed to be major drivers of violent crime, even as concerns grow over the rising number of fatal police shootings. SSP Brooks acknowledged that this intensified approach will inevitably lead to confrontations with heavily armed criminals, stressing that officers are often forced to respond decisively when faced with lethal threats. His comments come amid sharp criticism from human rights advocacy group Jamaicans for Justice, which has raised alarm over what it describes as a significant increase in police-involved fatal shootings. Data released by the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, indicates that between December 2024 and November 2025, there were 20 or more fatal police shootings recorded each month. Accordingly, INDECOM reports that 292 people were killed in police operations between January 1 and December 11 this year, representing a 67% increase compared to the same review period in 2024. Responding to the concerns, SSP Brooks maintained that police officers often have little or no alternative when confronted with armed suspects. He argued that the use of deadly force is sometimes unavoidable in situations where officers' lives or the lives of civilians are under immediate threat.
A man up in St. Catherine North and his crew commit a murder, and then shortly thereafter the police, because of improved intelligence gathering and improved operational capacity, the police intercept them at the roundabout and they engage the police with lethal force. These are men who just brutally murdered a man. Do you think that they are going to hesitate to shoot at the police? They're not going to hesitate. But do you want us to take them on, or don't you want us to take them on? So I don't see it as an elephant in the room. It is a scientific, pragmatic approach that is being taken from the crime and security portfolio, utilizing all the improved investigative capacity that we tell you that we have.
While highlighting what he described as successes in reducing murders, shootings, and rapes, Brooks also pointed to JCF monthly statistics, which shows increases in robberies and break-ins, indicating evolving crime challenges. The issue was put directly to SSP Brooks during a media engagement on Monday afternoon, as public debate continues over police accountability, public safety, and the appropriate use of force.
So, you're my side. On screen, you look on Dennis Jenkins. He was one of the man them that ended up try throw under the bus for the murder and the raping of young Diane Smith in a 1983 there. You see me I say? Many people did have it for say, yo, this man, he was shipped to America. But nothing like that. This man was always ever present. You know, this a clip in here where you see. Or the picture that he was taken from an interview that he did in 2003. I get to understand my side and him talk. He never hold back nothing. He maintain him innocence. Basically, I said the morning when that go on with Diane Smith,
Aki him there in the area pick because him is a Aki man. Aki him pick himself for a living. You see, pre no jokes about it. People did have it that in the Gawa, a foreign, and then come back down in a barrel, mince up. Not like that. The man say near see ever go to a plane out of Palisades. Where them must see a following in people and for go catch a plane. I nears that in say ever go up on a plane. So then rumors there were people did have it that people send this man way. Not like that indeed just there on the download see my side. You see me? In the interview, him did in high spirits, you see me, and him tackle a whole heap of the thing them, the allegation and things that were the rising in a case. Like me, like the gonorrhea thing. Him talk it brawling no time out, say yo, when then the whole him have him in a jail, you know. All them fear talk about he have gonorrhea, it wasn't gonorrhea, and say it was gonococcus. That are the cells them must cause gonorrhea, him say. You see me? But him so I really did go on because him there in a jail for so long and the custard farm around in hood brim or in hood rim. And so, they must see the test in pubic ear them. They all go in yard, go take all clothes from in yard underway if you kind of test them and them type of style on my side. You see me? So, I say, yo, I batch them really did a batch. I try put him on the scene duty, fuck, say, yo, in the day in the era. In actuality, when you hear me say, oh, them man I could afford the dearest lawyer, them I get to understand, say, yo, this man and Bert Samuels, them a friend from them little. Bert Samuels knowing from them I did about 40 my side, and one time, Bert Samuels must hear, say, at this reach, him friend, I saw him rise to the occasion. I represent the man for free. No jokes about it, my side. Yeah. I saw them could really afford them type of liar. Because watch when look like a liar, them did a situate. Then did a situate so about a okri. Did that take place, my side. You see me? But all in all, the man them bossy case. Me not even know what become of the other man in co-accused. But say Leroy Wallin. Me don't know what become of him. But as for this man here, Jenkins aka Shorty. That time nickname Shorty. I him this my side. He wasn't dead. So them that did rumors it seem. You see me I say no jokes about it. Them have to say yo in a them time on my side. The PNP party did I use the whole of this really tear down the JLP party. And I saw people did I come with the room and say I want such politician son must do the act. You see me I say my side a bag of raid in another case and I'm tell you from now a bag of raid. You see me? But as me say, no one has been convicted of Diane Smith murder. You see me? And just another cold case. It's just another cold case, my side, no jokes. As for Leroy Wallin, you know, oh, them did really arrest him, you know. You see, there when time the crime go on, police on certain police are drive and see Leroy upon the road and say, Leroy look suspicious. When time then stop and search Leroy must have an ice pick on him, my side. I saw them they taking Leroy. Anyways, then they end up let him go for the ice pick and in the affair report at a certain station. While him a report, they must find out say yo, a warrant out for him. And I saw them arrest him back my side. And automatically them a try pin Leroy and Dennis Jenkins, the two man them what they did in the era at the time. For the murder what they don't know nothing at all about. You see he pray. He really fuck up still no jokes about it. All in all, this was a close call for them two man there. Jenkins and Wallin. Big up to the lawyer them, Bert Samuel, Earl Witter, KD Knight. Cause I get to understand, both lawyers, the both team of lawyers that represent the accused, them end up team together. Yeah, them come together, yo, as one. Yeah, cause the lawyer them realize a slackness that go on and a lot of bias was in the case, my side. No jokes about it. You see me? As for this man, I say maintain me nonsense, my side. In an interview, say when them a drive in a vehicle and they bull crowd like them a say they want him blood, my boy a wave to them, see him like a celebrity. It look like him a drama man a type of way to my side. Don't need to go read the interview. Go and go read him and it look like him a little drama man, you see it. But you don't know a thing on my side. That. You see me? If you find nothing about Leroy Wallin, the co-accused, you don't know a thing. I'll be sure to keep you informed about Fiend whereabouts and all these things. But in the meantime, stay tuned for next cold case. You see me? Yeah, my side, welcome back to another video. On screen, you're looking at one of our unsung female artists that goes by the name of Grace Nelson. You see it? Grace Nelson, she was the first young lady to sing with the original Sonic Salvation Gospel Band while attending the Edwin Allen High School, my side. She began her musical career in her early teenage years, my side, where she used to go around in the Kingston era and she perform on them type of style. In the mid 1980s, her vocaling style, it captured producer Clarence Royce, who released 3 separate hits that year. Where Did the Love Go, Jagivet, and Grace Nelson's debut song, Kingston City. In a 1995, my side, the song them start get the recognition that them supposed to fear get. You see me I say, in a the reggae space and the whole of them type of style, no jokes. Grace Nelson, she ended up being invited to go on tour in the UK. While in London, she demonstrated her vocal skills on the Lynx Showcase alongside other promising performers. You see me? While touring with the group, she was approached by the German-based Hi-Fi to record a number of obscure singles. In 1997, she returned to Jamaica and released the favored Name Brand and No Pot Scrapings. Both songs were local hits in Kingston. Her success then later led her to being invited to join Black Uro on their European tour. Her career was beginning to get intensified, my side. As you may say, things start happening now. Career flourish when in May 1998, she was found murdered at her Kingston home. That's why I say my side, no jokes about it. Forensics determined that her body was unnoticed for 2 weeks. You see me? And at the same time, her death, it wasn't publicly disclosed. So people still there in a awe and they in a limbo as to how veteran artist Grace Nelson lost her life. But when time he run a ratio, you know, I look upon it and I pre-saw some type of bad mind thing. As I say, no jokes. At the same time, no leads wherever. You know? Police, they never get no leads at all, my side. No time of death. And not even a suspect. They not even know if it's a man or a woman. But in my opinion, I just rise. She did a rise to stardom. And somebody else probably couldn't afford that. You see it? In my opinion, I can somebody in a see a music group come liquor where somebody will get jealous, somebody will be on the scene long time. You see me? And those can't be if you say, Miss Grace Nelson, for your career to flourish. Yeah man, I'm telling you man, you can be a family member to just bad mind, no jokes about it. You see me? As I say my side, a whole heap of spookiness take place here in Jamaica. And doing these unsolved cases, show yo say yo Jamaica, yo just yo, they behind time, bro, in solving whole heap of cases, brother. You see me? You see how America, them proactive, then don't reactive, you know, them proactive, yo. You can't say the same for Jamaica. A whole heap of unsolved cases and cold cases out there, brother. And you know what the hurtful thing about it? When the family them can't get no closure about nothing at all, bro. Worse when time the body cannot be found. Jamaica need to do something better, your government need to do better, bro. And at the same time, you know, this is Jamaica too, you know, brother. When I think so nobody don't know nothing, you know, man, people always know something, you know. Nobody feel like you can't do nothing and feel like nobody not see, you know. Somebody see, you know, brother. That me I tell you, you know. That me I tell you. So right now, bro, nothing no secret that people just fucked up and corrupt. You see me? I make you look like say this a case, I just want like a fucked up case. People know what go on, and people shut their mouth. As I say, heights a bad mind this. Cause mama career did I take off. Right now, her songs they were well received over in Nigeria, them my side, them African country there. Even though Jamaica never really give her the recognition what she should have get. At least Jamaica can receive her song them how them should have been received. She get her ratings in some big places. I want to man Africa and them type of style. As I say my side, it's a just blatant bad mind. No jokes about it. As I say my side, the Jamaica government need to do something here as it related to people being missing and, these unsolved crimes, unsolved cases. Nah, man, not for do better, man. When you don't feel like somebody don't know, somebody always know, man. No jokes about it. I don't really know if the family, they never really did push the case my side, but I don't know a thing. I know the family still hurting and the family, them still remember their loved one on a daily basis. You see, you pray. You don't know a thing still my side. Just another cool case and cool mystery this yet to be solved. I'm out. Yeah, my side, welcome back to another unsolved case, you see me? Most of us supposed to be aware with this photographer that goes by the name of Nick Photoworks. You see me? His real name, Nikita Thomas. You see me? At the time, Nikita was a celebrity photographer in the dancehall space and I dancehall scene my side. For the name of celebrity, Nick Photoworks has worked or took that celebrity's photo. No jokes about it. It's just like how artists have them status. I saw this man did have a status as a photographer based on how well indeed could have doing work and when taking work serious. No jokes about it. When female yes Nick Photoworks, I can cover the footage them and the picture, girl happy. Whole by promotional work, girls them man I used to work with. See me I say no jokes. My side, I want to tell you say one day, October 5, 2015, upon a Monday. This is the report them, the official report them what police really give. Other than that, whole heap of rumors and speculation and allegation arise how him dead my side, you see me? But I go know what the police them say first. On a particular morning or a particular day, October 5th, 2015, Nick Photoworks and some man, they were seen arguing in the community of Casha Park, them my side. Not only Nick Photoworks, but Nick Photoworks had an uncle by the name of Dwight Brown. So Nick Photoworks and his uncle argue with some man in the road. Fast forward to November, October 7 on my side, the Wednesday. Nick Photoworks, his car was found in white BMW. You see me? Look like say Nick Photoworks in Mr. Fran the Monday. When time him and the man them catch up and they argue. Nick Photoworks and him uncle, them miss my side in a 10 year. People in the community can tell us, yeah man, then did see Nick Photoworks and a man did argue, but nobody still not really brave enough to talk. Who and him did argue. So up till now my side, Nick Photoworks hasn't been found. A 10 years now since Nick Photoworks just missing like that my side. No jokes about it. I covered a video already on my YouTube channel 4 years ago, but because somebody mentioned it, that's why I really bring it back over here. So, but as I say my side, Nick Photoworks are one of them top photographers and him life just snuff out like that. No jokes about it. Rumors had it that, here I say my side, rumors, I never say it go so. It's rumors. Had it that Nick Photoworks must have miss up some money. You see me I say, must spend out some money when should I use and deal with that thing for somebody. Allegation, I never say it go so. You see me I say, other people have it to say. Because Nick Photoworks was a photographer at least 2 weeks before Nick Photoworks dead my side. I get to understand say he must have cover one party somewhere out of east. You see me? It is also understood that certain knockies and clappies, they were at the party. You see me? While Nick photo works must say I take picture, Nakis and Clappis must say I get taking a picture too. That's what I say. Remember, you know, them are allegations. I never said them go so. I just tell you now what was being said. The speculations and the allegations. It is said that men must come page Nick photo works for the camera. I don't know if I delete the man and do you want to delete off them picture for the camera, but I do not know. I just tell you now what I did here. You see me? People have to say, that make him lose his life. You see me, I say a baggery. But as me I say, let's stick to the police thing. Him and man argue the Monday, and then just missing. Him and his uncle just missing. The 7th of October, I just think photo works car that. I wanted to say even the mother did take it away on my side. A 2 heart attack, Miss Essie did end up getting on my side and she suffered one stroke. I want to tell her she's strong. Very strong. The last time I see her 4 years ago when I do a video, she came out in a video like she has say, oh, she forgive whoever, you know, miss up her son body. Even though she say, oh, she just even want even a strand or a bone or something on him. When I grew anything watching that interview, it made my heart did full. No jokes, you see me? As I say my side, it has been 10 years. And it's a cool case same way. You see me? Nick photo works and him uncle, they missing. Last place they were seen, a Casha Park arguing with a group of man. After that, no more sign of the youth them. You see me? Really fuck up still my side, no jokes about it. But as I say my side, basically I hate that if Nick photo works, you see me? Anytime I talk about the story, I get all emotional to more while. I not grow anything my side, you see me? Anytime this man a story come up back, I just get emotional for some strange reason. I don't know if I true me is a photographer too, you know. You see it? I don't know. But anytime a dog thing come around and I talk about it, I just feel some type of way about it and the mother they have to take it to. You see me I say? The mother they in a perpetual mental purgatory. You see it? No jokes about it, yo. Nick photo works. Him work still live on my side. No jokes about it. He have some family. He have some nephew. Or he have a nephew. Or really a carry on him legacy. You see me? Them have a YouTube channel. On YouTube named Nick Photo Works same way. And as me say, them still a carry on them uncle legacy. That's what I say. No jokes about it. Stay tuned for the next unsolved case. Oh, and by the way, I never did show a picture of the uncle when he do it, bro. As I can see, that is a picture of him. You see me? At the time, he was like 42 when he missing. You see me? And at the time, I think Nick was about 28 when him go missing. You see me? I say. But you don't know anything on my side. Stay tuned for the next update. I'm out. So yeah, my side, welcome to another cold case. This took place in about 2013. Many of you know, based on our Jamaican culture, no one not gonna even give a fuck about this a story about duty fuck say it's a cold case. I'm still gonna bring it forward, you see it? Well, on screen you're looking at a 17-year-old individual that goes by the name of Dwayne Jones. You see me? Dwayne Jones was a teen crossdresser. You see me? Living in Irving, St. James at the time. You see me? He was kicked out from his community. His family, them abandoned him. You see me? He reached to a point where them have to live on the road. Him and some other boy start live my side. You see me? I say, the thing is, he knew that he was marked for death. You see me? Enough trick then get from police and all of them type of style due to them lifestyle and all of them style, you see me? So he knew that he was marked for that. But what you know, little did he know that almost 2 months later he would have been brutally murdered. I get to understand say the man must go just as a female and go on street dance my side. You see me? Big clash a go on. I him a take on the female them. The female them all over them born as female. Come like them waistline they move like how female waistline a move. This a man a caught the attention of another man in the dance. So you look like same man did a dance. with such man. It happened to that one eye girl them look like they get jealous. They must go let the cat out of the bag my side. You see me? And make a people when I dance now, so yo is a man. Crow come down upon him now my side and I check and I ask him, so yo, you're a man or a woman, you're a man or a woman. Him still hold on upon the notion say him a woman. His friend them what he did with him, them a try get him out, but then fail by the time I know it in my side. He was beaten, he was stabbed and he was shot. Also he was run over. At the morning police find him my side. Not even family then come claim him. The angry mob brutally murdered him. No jokes about it. You see me? This take place July 22 my side, 2013. And as I say, it has been a cold case since. No phone and I go really give a fuck duty if I say, yo, I am lifestyle. But as I say, it is a cold case and it's still an unsolved case. But knowing we Jamaican, this a case that going to stay frozen. I mean, I say that with no joke on my face. I may try be funny. You see me? But knowing Jamaica, this case is going to be a frozen case. No jokes. Only hear me say, not even the family they come claim my body. It happened that at the J flag people them must say they deal with all of the burial and funeral proceedings and them type of style. That for sure nobody never do have nothing to do with him. You see me? No jokes about it. As I can see, you know, it rough being a different type of lifestyle. It rough, don't it? Yeah man, it rough, cause why can't cost your life. But what is style no? When I go against the righteousness. A guy free for do and do and do. As long as guy na bring certain lifestyle to me, we okay, you see, pray. This a little youth time go wrong. Cause when I go on like so, I don't fuck rain do. And go wrong, we shot and go cross dress and I try deceive people. And I that now with most of them type of people who are on the other spectrum of life, bro. And everybody wanna can come move like on want deceive. That is not right, bro. That is not right. This a little youth and give him life. He could have probably stay alive till the day if indeed just know him boundaries. No for now probably I blame all the female and I say the female chat too much, but watch on man. In a them time there, such man for know say yo he was marked for death. Them time there the body thing it wasn't so. You see me? Acceptable as how it acceptable now. So I him play with fire and give him life. And as I say my side, in family them never want to have nothing to do with him. Stay tuned still as we bring more unsolved and cold case. I'm out. So yeah my side, welcome back to another video. As you know I said, no jokes about it. Many are supposed to remember this prominent figure, TV host that goes by the name of Christine Hewitt Garden. You see me? Who remember one little program used to come on TV on your man talk. Yeah man, Christine Hewitt used to depend on it as she used to run it. And me wanna know, sorry, energy. It was one that could be contained. She outspoken, you see me I say, and she was very hardworking. For who know, Christine Hewitt she was a promoter, artist, manager. You see me I say, a lot of things. She had her charity and all of them style on my side. No jokes about it. She was like a philanthropist. No jokes about it. You see me I say, she even had hopes to run for parliament in the year 2006. You see me I say, no jokes about it. She was going to run as councillor in South Trelawney. You see me I say, but you don't know a thing that never did come to fruition because her life was taken. You see me I say, I'm going to issue upon Christine Hewitt. Christine Hewitt, as I say, top woman in them days there. But one particular morning, Thursday, June 29, 2006, was the day when Christine Hewitt she really met her demise. On that particular morning, Christine Hewitt was set out to leave from Kingston to go on the road to promote a new drink for one of her clients them. It is understood that Christine, she had borrowed one of the mini vans, something like one Noah bus. She borrowed one of them type of bus, that one IS bus from the same client. To go really do the promotion of the drinks. The new drinks were really come up on the market. May I get to understand my side that Christine, she left from Kingston and she arrived in St. Anne. You see me? When she arrived in St. Ann, she was also seen in Faith Pen. While she was seen in Faith Pen, she had a passenger with her in the highest bus or the Nova van, whatever. You see me? After that, my side, like a whole time, it is understood that Christine was seen and another passenger was trying to come in the same van that she was driving. Mind you, nobody never suspect nothing. Everybody just see her and know say, yeah man, I eat that. While Christine with a drive my side, it seemed as if she was attacked by someone. Nobody don't know if a Udi day in the vehicle with her attack her, nobody don't know. But she was attacked somewhere in a St. Catherine, in a secluded area, lonely area. You see me, at a place they called Bamboo St. Catherine. It is understood that Christine, which was killed my side, and the same Noah bus that she was driving, she was set ablaze in the back seat my side. No jokes about it. Her charred remains. You see me, I say she couldn't even be identified. What really make people didn't know sir Christine with the fact say she died with a married ring on her finger, same way, and she had on one gold chain. No jokes about it. When the news break my side, say Christine with dead, Jamaica go up in a frenzy. Even Portia Sinsimilar, she have to come out and kind of give a little speech and say, yo, she was a very hard-working and assiduous individual, very industrious and all of them type of style. You see what I mean? I say no jokes about it. It was big. You see me? It was big. She end up the bury like a month after July 2006 my side at one of them cathedral church there. You see me over town there. You see what I mean? I say she was buried. At least her funeral service was held at one of them cathedral church there. Close casket set in my side. No jokes about it. Remember, you know, I tell them say she have her wedding ring on her finger. Yeah. She was married. In a them time, I get to understand that Christine knew it. She had a affair or she had a relationship with a young youth, a young haulage driver or a haulage contractor over in St. Catherine there. They might be 20 little bit at the time, about 21, and Christine, which was about 41 at the time. People, they kind of did, you know, they just say things about it, it rub them wrong, but they don't know a thing. Christine, would they never did response and still live them happily life. After Christine went dead now on my side and buried in 2006. Is it 3 years after that? Christine Hewitt husband was the primary suspect of her murder. Police them come for him and they end up charge Christine Hewitt husband that goes by the name of must say David Garden. You see me I say either must say David Garden or Donald Garden. He was charged for the murder of Christine Hewitt. What is time now my side? Even though he was charged, he was out on bail. Yet me that him have one brother what they call Wordsworth Garden as well. Both of them get charged for murder my side, but watch you know, the both of them they come up on bail $2 million each. You see me I say? Alright, while in the on bail, prosecution them a try bill case and all these things. It come to a situation where the youth them just a go court every time they go court, the prosecution ain't ready, the case not ready. You see me? So you see me, it a waste man them time even though they on bail till it come to a test now my side we shot. The thing have to throw out because they never have enough evidence really. Say yeah, the husband killed Christine with the brother. They never have enough evidence my side. I see me I say no jokes about it. So Christine with death are one of them that are unsolved mystery there. You see me I say no jokes about it. She just dead and nobody no get charged for it. People probably are pre the husband, yes. Cause you don't know anything, but people are going to pre the worst. People might have pre him. But as I say, the evidence it wasn't strong enough my side to really pin him. Saw him take Christine Hewitt life. Christine Hewitt, she left one daughter behind my side. And she even left her adopted son. You see me I say no jokes about it. Christine Hewitt was one of them prominent woman on my side. You know them alpha female, eh? Yeah. You could have dumb her down and she did bright, she did smart. You see me I say? No jokes about it and she sassy with her words. Remember good no man talk I used to come on TV for night time man. A she run it. No jokes about it. I know they scratch out Miss Christine with early before time cause all moms that are doing her earth, you know. all what moms that do in the earth are just help people. That's what I say. And be the best that she can be in a Jamaica society. And if you understand that she was a lover of the reggae music to my side, and one of her aim was for push the reggae music for everybody. Just a push it, make it a climb, not tear down barriers and them type of style. You see me? She was like an ambassador for reggae music then. Cause I say, you know, she was an artist, manager as well. You see me? I say she a promoter. A bagare. She did have one show where she did one dropping on my side, you see it? And that not even did get to come through, never come to fruition. You see me? Really rough, but you don't know a thing go. Christine was one of them figures that I know many of us can't forget. We can't forget. A long time I watched Christine with man talk before me even could understand what them talk say. But remember her face as she used to run it and I be a man did it. But as she had the dominant force, even though she had the own. No jokes about it. She was born January 26, 1963 my side. I did big man. When time she passed out, you see me? And as I say, her death, it did shake up the whole of Jamaica. But you don't know a thing, this a refresh ones and ones them brain. You see me? Who forget her? You see me I say? But as she the same way. Christine Whitman. Oh legend. Philanthropist. No jokes about it. All of the good word them we can use to describe a female as she that. It just fucked up to somebody take her life like that, you know, that they fucked up with it in a real life. I don't know nothing more about your husband, you know. I don't know what become of him. You see me I say? I don't know what become my brother. You see me? But you don't know anything on my side. This is just another video from the past. Hope you learn something. Let me do down in the comment what else you don't want me to do. Because we have it, you know, believe. Yeah, my side, welcome back to another Unsolved case, you see me? Well, this case, what I'm going to bring to you now. This time, this happened about 42 years ago. No jokes about it. The female that you're looking at in the background, she goes by the name of Diane Smith. Diane Smith was a student of the Immaculate Conception School for Girls, as you may I say. No jokes about it. At the time she died, she was like, what, 14 going on to 15. You see me? It happened like Wednesday, May 4th, my side. You don't know, she wake up for the school and about 6 a.m. she must set out my side for go school. What she normally do, she walk from her home up in Old Stone Hill Road, you see me, and go to school on a daily basis. You see me, I said, no jokes. It is reported that my side she reached at an intersection of Old Stone Hill Road and must say Long Road. There's a little passage there my side. It is said that she went through that little passage. Seem as if while she go through the passage, she was snatched up. You see me? About 9 a.m., a man that goes by the name of George Williams, he must say he need to look for him code him. And I saw him walk and I walk him and look for him code him and book up on Diane Smith body down in a one gully up a Constant Spring side, my side. No jokes about it. When him see it, he call the police them, at least him beg a China man to call the police them. By then, crowd engulf all of the bank. You see me I say? All of the gully bank. Everybody does a look on the girl down there, sprawl up on her back. Her book bag there beside her. You can't see short her blouse. Her uniform full of blood and beer stains. She was violated, my said, no jokes about it. You see me? After that go on my side, the news must say reach the mother. You see me I say? News must reach her mother. Say her daughter dead. When the mother go identify the body my side, mother drop down, she faint, she wake up in a hospital. No jokes about it. Yeah, but that the police them they must they snatch up 6 man off the road. Out of the 6 man, only 2 alone at the boy along to a man that goes by the name of Leroy Wallen and the next man that goes by the name of Dennis Jenkins. You see it pray. My side, the whole Dennis Jenkins about 10 weeks my side before they really charge him. While they whole on him, man a floss him in a jail. Barely him a get. Yeah man a broke him up in a jail. No jokes about it. Leroy Allen Wallen now as I say my side, they must say they whole on him too. You see me? And indeed jail and they not get deal. Yeah man, then they not get bail my side, so you don't know the thing go. They have trial now and all of them type of style. As I say, trial date was September 24, 1984 my side, and that take place over a 10-day period. As I say, when you reach the final date now, as I say, the final date October 5, 1984. I want to tell you, say, it was a hung jury. The jury could come to a unanimous decision. You see me? No jokes, and at the same time, the attorney them were representing man them are submit a no case submission to mind you my side. Investigators found strands of hair upon the body of Diane Smith, and them strand of hair there, it did match that of Leroy Wallen and Dennis Jenkins. Investigators even found spermatozoa, you must know say them the name sperm cell, inside of Diane Smith, along with gonorrhea. You see me I say? And she never have gonorrhea. Basically them say, yo, I one of the man them gave her gonorrhea. You see what I say? About a raid at my side, them say semen were found. You see me I say? And the semen that was found, it showed that she was recently violated. Blood that was found on the young girl's uniform, they have to say it was O positive, and the two man them O positive too. So in time we hear the whole of them thing, I say Ras, our people then I say Ras, but them man I get F then. Them get F. Ungo for realize my side say yo, the man them bust the case, the man them walk free. The man then walk free my side. Leroy Wallen he walk free first. And then now Dennis Jenkins him walk free after. You see me I say, as I say, the attorneys them represent the two man them. No verdict, no case submission. Basically one of the man them or one of the attorney them that represent one of the man them obviously say all of this is just speculation, and these young men they are being judged. The case is prejudice towards them. And them type of style, them man then start bringing all of a sudden you come like say a case batch my side, no jokes about it. When the things you have a man them, I sleep a man them slip out through the net brawling. So up till the day my side, no one has been convicted for the murder of Diane Smith. Remember no people find DNA evidence and everything, you know. The man they find the man ear pan the scene, the man them ear pan the scene, the man they find the man them ear pan the body of a young girl. And the man them still never get up. It was even being said or speculated that I want a certain politician do the dirt. I'm not even call him name, but who know. You see me I say a lot of question was brought up in this case. Because my side are two poor youth them. I want to take a step. You see lawyer represent them and them. I tap us off a top lawyer them. Bert Samuel Skady night and one of the woman there. My side. The man them poor, but the man them could afford the best lawyer. The man them could even afford an American must be one pathologist or something like that for coming in here in a Jamaica. People have a question here, who fund it? Who fund the defense team? Because the man them was some poor man. Where they get money from can hire them type of man there. As I say my side, I wanted a spooky case this. And it just go unsolved. And it goes a cold case. Who to tell if the killer didn't walk same way up till today? It was a sad time with Jamaica in them time, and even though I never born. You see me? I get to understand say this a little girl incident really make them cut out the daylight saving time in a Jamaica, you know. Cause I remember good, you know, 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. in the morning one night time, a time they just dark so. The time just dark, so one of them who was a picnic used to have a dig off and I go to school. I get to understand, so I she my side make the daylight saving thing cut off. Pick then I go at 6 o'clock in the night. When I'm morning, but the place dark, see I made them thing they cut out, to really effort my side. But I just one next cold case. I get to understand even our father. Our father died of a heart attack, broken heart my side. Because the girl did have so much potential, I swear to you. A whole lot of potential she had. You see me? She did bright and all these things my side. You see me? No jokes about it. You see it? When I wonder them two man we police then just spin it down upon them. By the way, they were in the area when the little thing go on. They were in the area, in the vicinity. The same morning when time Miss Diane Smith, she was found. You see me I say? As I say my side, I want a really spooky case, you know. It's a really spooky case, man. No jokes about it. You see me? But you don't know anything go. Just stay tuned and let's see what other unsolved case out there if you really bring forward to the ones and ones them. Hope to learn something. You don't know the thing come down. I'm out.
You know, sometimes I'm actually so embarrassed to be a Jamaican because the side of Jamaica that is shown the most is the side that is not very intellectually inclined. In the past 4 days or so, I've learned more about a young lady allegedly selling her pum pum than I would have really liked to know. But on the flip side, there's a case at the College of Agriculture, Science and Education in Portland, Paisley Gardens, where a young lady was raped on campus. But nobody is talking about that. Once the news team push it out, it's pushed aside. You just scroll and go about your business. You not repost it, you not share it, you not talk about it. Yeah? But oh, somebody has sell pum pum. Oh, spicy. But somebody's pum pum was used without their consent. We don't care about that. Oh, but the woman who is allegedly selling it, oh, that is all of our business and we should be sharing it and commenting and doing this and doing that. Guess what? You don't have it right up here, so. Zane, because the young lady at case would like that much exposure. She would like it to be known that she was raped. But nobody not talking about it, right? Because it's not as exciting as somebody possibly selling them private property when nobody else have shares in her. Yeah? So whether she want to lease it, rent it, put it down for higher purchase, whatever she would have wanted to do with it would have been her business. But oh, that is more interesting and intriguing than this case now at case and the other cases that are to come, because it is continuously happening. And that, my people, is what I'm embarrassed about. The need for people to share things when they have nothing to do with them and things when they benefit them. But the next young lady want a little assistance with people pushing out a message and sharing it so she can get justice, and then no business because when I focus on something when I have nothing to do, no, and that person never asks for no input or help or anything. We want to look upon yourself and realize say some things is not worth sharing and other things are important to share. So share this message and let people know that there's a recent case of rape, yes, at the Case College in Paisley Gardens, and the girl need justice. And the following girls who come, them are going to need justice. So them are going to need enough to post and share and comment and like and everything one of you do, want to do that with them content there. And stop focus on what people are doing with them property when they have no shares in them. Have a nice day, all my Jamaican people.
Nationwide News understands the police are probing a triple murder in Frasersfield, Rocky Point in Clarendon on Thursday night. Reports are that about 9:10 p.m., a man, 26-year-old laborer Daniel Henry, got into a dispute with family members. It's understood Henry used a machete to chop his mother, brother, and cousin. All three were hacked to death. Dead are Annette Lindo, a domestic helper and vendor. She was the suspect's mother. Ingrid Keisha Lindo, a vendor. She was the suspect's cousin. And a 32-year-old Linval Henry, a fisherman. He was the suspect's brother. Nationwide News understands the suspect, Daniel Henry, was treated earlier on Thursday for ongoing mental health issues at Lionel Town Clinic in the parish.
Hello everybody. So welcome back to this amazing channel. I truly appreciate your support, guys. So in today's video we're going to look at the unresolved cases in Jamaica, and that is because today, or just some few hours ago, news and reports came out to the media, and it said that, or it's reported that these unaliving cases has reduced. I mean, from the last 40 years, in the last 40 years, this is the year that Jamaica has reported the lowest cases ever of unaliving be it MURDER or any type of unaliving, guys. And that was amazing. It's great news. I know all of you know Jamaica is that land of, beautiful landscapes, vibrant culture, and beautiful people, beautiful food, and just nice everything. But of course, each and every country in the world, each and every island in the world, they have their good sides and their bad sides. And when you talk about the unaliving cases in Jamaica, it has always been on the rise for so many years. And 2025, we are happy that it has reduced. Okay, 700 is still a lot, but at least it's going down. In today's video, we have watched so many unresolved cases of Jamaicans that were unalived, and it's really sad how our judiciary systems work. And even more, it's more shocking that in Jamaica, their highest court is in Europe, in England. Like, man, how do these people survive? Like, the final court where you can actually appeal a case is in Europe. Does that really make sense? Because I thought, is a democratic country, you should be having your own systems that work, from the parliament, from the judiciary, from the executive. But it's like Jamaica is partially owned and controlled by those that colonized them, which is the Britain. I don't know if that really makes sense. And if that is the case, they should have helped them to have this particular judiciary function, see cases closure. Because now I can tell you that families are suffering psychologically. They know what happened to their kins, to their brothers, to their sisters, to their parents. But then the cases are taking so many years. They are being dragged like a snail that is taking a step at a time. And that takes so many years. And one thing that I have never understood about the judiciary system in the third world countries is the fact that everything drags for over 10 years. It just doesn't end in an year. It has to take so many years for it to be closed, And in these particular stories that we have just watched, most of them, not really most, all of them are officially in the cold stage. There is no closure in that. And of course, it's not good at all, because everybody wants a closure on each and every case, to understand what really happened, who really did these heinous acts, and what have they what has the government, what has the authority done to them? Because of course there has to be a legal way of dealing with those particular kind of people. And if if the government doesn't take its hand on this type of people, then it means they're going to do it to other citizens of Jamaica. So I personally, I don't know if I should be doing those such kind of stories. Probably, I don't know. I was thinking of doing these stories in the channel. You can let me know in the comment section what you think about it, guys, because it's you that makes us create such type of content. We depend on you, so kindly comment down below. And there is a clip here that was that we have watched here about Jamaicans' reactions to their leaders. And I'm glad that Jamaicans have this thought that if their leaders unite, if their leaders work together, then they're gonna achieve so much. And that is true, because unity is power. And honestly, in this world, you've never seen divided leaders achieving anything tangible, anything good for their own citizens, right? It's only united leaders that we've seen them achieving so much. It doesn't really mean that in the global stage, even here locally, if you see at leaders, if you look at leaders that are together, they are united. I mean, so much is achieved, and of course that is a plus to anybody, any citizens of the world that are under such kind of leaders. Thank you, my good people, for watching our beautiful video. Kindly subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, right? Bye bye.